everyone, my name is Elia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you weren't already aware, I'm a 19-year-old transgender woman and today I'm going to be talking about what it's been like being on hormones. So I originally started hormone blockers at age 14. It was a hormone blocker shot called Lupron that I got every 3 months. Basically the needle was really big. It was really hard to get used to getting these so often at first, but eventually it was something that I got used to. I then went on to start estrogen at age 15. They started me at a very low dose. If you know the dosages of like estradiol, the pills, you would know that half a milligram is like such a low dose. I didn't even know the doses went that low, but they started me on half a milligram and worked me up to about 8 milligrams. When I turned 18 years old, they stopped covering my Lupron shots and my testosterone blockers. So basically they had to improvise. For a while there, I was just winging it, taking my same dose of estrogen as I was without the blockers. And I found that my testosterone levels were through the roof. It felt like I was going backwards in my transition. I felt so hopeless. It almost felt like I was getting my 5 o'clock shadow back. It felt like all my hair was growing so fast on my body. It felt like my body was changing backwards. And it was so discouraging. And then once I got my blood work stating that this was going on, my doctor was able to do something about it. He told me to lower my estrogen dose and to start taking patches as well with the estrogen pills. He wanted me to go down to 4 milligrams of estradiol and then keep taking these patches. I've found that I've been struggling with my skin and everything like that lately, and I feel like ever since adding the patches on, it kind of made the problem a little bit worse. I haven't since gotten my blood work taken since being put on these patches since it was recently, but I have decided to go down to 2 milligrams of estrogen with the patches instead of taking 4 milligrams. And I've already felt so much better. I feel like my skin is getting a little bit better slowly but surely. Now, one thing I want to start by talking about is what are some of the more mental effects or more mental and physical effects that aren't appearance wise on your body that people aren't going to see when you start taking estrogen. So the first side effect that I feel like you'll start to feel almost within a week of taking the blockers and or the estrogen pills is hot flashes. Basically, you can feel hot flashes when your hormones are imbalanced or too high or too low. I'm not sure the exact science behind it, so don't listen to me on that. But definitely know that when your hormones are imbalanced or your body is struggling to adjust these hormones, you will get hot flashes. Something my doctor did recommend to me, which I don't recommend changing your medication without a doctor's permission, but what my doctor did recommend to me when only on pills was to take half of my dosage in the morning and half of my dosage at night. Therefore, then the hormones aren't running out of my system midway through the day and causing me to go imbalance. I definitely get way more emotional than I used to. I cry an awful lot, whereas when I used to get angry, now when I get angry, I almost even cry because of it. I definitely also feel way more compassionate. I feel like I'm a more emotional person in general, but I feel like compassion is something that I might have just learned along the way of transitioning, but I definitely do feel like part of it has to do with my hormones. Mood swings and irritability are something that you can definitely expect, whether your hormones are imbalanced or too high or, you know, whatever. I feel like it's more when your hormones are imbalanced or too high that this happens, but I definitely get a lot of mood swings. The mood swings typically are mood swings of irritability or sadness and depression. This can play part in not having your hormones the right way, the right dosage, or not taking them at the right times or being inconsistent with it. I definitely noticed a lot of skin changes along the way. One of the first changes that I noticed within 2 weeks of being on hormonal treatment was that my skin was getting way softer than it was before. I also have noticed that as my hormone dosages have changed, it normally causes a breakout once it's in the process of being changed. And I noticed that when my testosterone's high, that I definitely start to break out a lot more. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was your strength and your muscle mass. So basically going on these hormones is going to lower the strength and the muscle mass that you have currently. It's not going to do anything drastic. Definitely keep working out to avoid this happening. And if you're working out, that's totally going to keep you strong and keep you healthy. But I wasn't very strong as it was before going on these hormones. So definitely going on them has had that side effect of lowering my strength and my muscle mass. And I definitely can't lift the same things that I could lift before. The next thing is your body hair will definitely start to thin out and grow a lot slower, which is a good thing. If you find yourself at the beginning of your transition not on hormones but are planning to go on hormones, you might find yourself shaving all the time, feeling like it's always growing back. And depending on your hormone levels, it should thin out and it should grow a little bit slower. Now, moving on to the interesting part is going to be what changes about your physical appearance that the world can see after time on these hormones. So keep in mind that I didn't notice all these changes right away. There's changes that I've noticed in the timeline of 5 months, and there's changes that I noticed in the timeline of a year, and even new changes that I'm seeing 5 years later. So to start, your hair is definitely going to start growing in thicker and softer, and in the weirdest way possible. My hair is not naturally like this, no, but my hair was always pinned straight, and I noticed little waves growing into it when it started growing out. Could have nothing to do with the hormones, but I thought that was very interesting. Along with my hair growing thicker and softer, it definitely changed in texture. I've also noticed that this is all new. This is all, you know, what you would consider more baby hairs, but as we can see, they're kind of long to be baby hairs because I truly feel like my hairline has just been over time growing in rounder. The next thing that I've noticed that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is people having a rounder face. If you look at my face beforehand, it's definitely a lot stronger looking around the jaw and other areas like that. You might be wondering how this could work. Obviously, these hormones can't change your bone structure, but they can change your fat redistribution. Most of these changes that I'm going to talk about from here to the rest of the video have to do with fat redistribution. So fat is normally redistributed to your cheeks more and your jawline more, and it softens everything out. It doesn't change your bone structure, but it almost covers your bone structure in a certain type of way, and it just makes you look a little bit more round and feminine. The next thing that has to do with fat redistribution is a more feminine looking figure. So I have noticed ever since going on estrogen that my waist has gotten way rounder, my hips have gotten wider, I've noticed skinnier arms and thicker thighs, yet skinnier legs to an extent. Like, I feel like you can see what I'm saying. The next change would be breast development, and I feel like this is different for everybody. Some people get a lot, some people get a little. I'm one of the people who really haven't gotten a lot, but it all has to do with your weight as well. I feel like not only does it have to do with breast tissue, a lot of it is fat. And so if you're trying to gain weight, that can also help you with that. Now, like I already said, there are some things that won't change when going on these hormones, like your bone structure. And with this being said, no, you won't get shorter. No, your hands will not get smaller. Your chin is not gonna become all pointy, and your nose isn't, like, things like that. That's the way it is unless you get that changed. But I've heard a rumor commonly that these hormones make you shorter. They definitely do not, at least for me. Maybe they have for other people. But like I said, I've been on these hormones for about 5 years now. Well, the blockers at least, and then just hormonal treatment in general for 5 years. And I definitely have not gotten shorter. I have only gotten taller. I am now 3 inches taller than I was when I was 16, and I know that because the license that I have from when I was 16 says I'm 5'8", and that was the height I was when measured at the time. And now I'm about almost 5'10". So I definitely don't believe that these suppress your height growth, and I think that you're just gonna grow to your normal height either way. But yeah, now I hope this video was informative for some of you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go down below and leave a like and a comment. And if you're interested in subscribing, go ahead. I will definitely be posting more content in the future. And I just want you all to know that you are loved and amazing the way you are.